Okay, we are live with Crusader of Centy. Take it away, Chubbus.
Thanks for having me. I've got a game by many names, depending on the release, the region. It goes by Soleil, Ragnar Centy, and Crusader of Centy. I don't think there are any others. I have with me Cronin. Say hello, Cronin. Or don't say hello.
I need to unmute himself.
Whatever. Hopefully you can come on back soon. But yeah, I've got a pretty not well-known Sega Genesis game here, as are most Sega Genesis games that aren't Sonic. This is a cool little, I would call it a Zelda clone. As you'll see, the UI is pretty similar, but instead of hearts, you got apples, so it's completely different. So let's take it away. You want me to count you down? There's Cronin.
Cronin should be back with us now.
Oh, hey. Hello, guys. Sorry, a little technical difficulty.
Feel free to count me down whenever you're ready.
Cool. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, I play on the Japanese version because it is immensely faster based on dialogue alone. About 2 minutes. And honestly, I would say more people know this game in the US out of how expensive this game is. It's one of those pretty rare American games. Affects you as a speedrunner if you play on console, unless you're flashcarding it up. But the Japanese copy is dirt cheap, so pretty nice.
So just a quick lore explanation here. You're Corona, and on your 14th birthday, every guy on their 14th birthday gets a sword, and they go out adventuring. We're going straight out to adventure. This is a mono. We're never gonna see him again in the run.
I skip all that stuff.
Next time you see him, say glitchlessly, he's frozen in a block of ice, so he's just kind of gonna get stuck there for the rest of his life. Sorry. It's not fast to save you.
Humans are bad in this game anyway. Spoilers.
Whoops.
They're coming up to the first trick here, which is just like a rock clip. There's a lot of out-of-bounds stuff in this game. You gotta do this a few different times. Now, normally you want to farm some money, but you don't need to if you can just grab a money bag through the out of bounds like that. And what you do with that money is you go to a village dude that sells you sword throw, which is a very useful tool.
And if he actually went back inbounds where that money bag is, it would be a soft lock. There's a few potentials for soft locks in this game, as happens when you go out of bounds.
Did I get it? Okay. What?
And that guy there, he calls you a wimp if you don't want to get the sword throw.
It's a very useful glitch here for this stage.
Also, please note the turtle having a good old time in the bottom left corner.
Yeah. He's just jamming out.
Just getting jiggy with it.
I mean, even the grass is getting jiggy with it. Look at it moving around. It's basically water.
pretty soft looking.
Alright, so being in the doorway in this game glitches out the cinematics and can actually skip some bosses. That skipped the whole cinematic where this dude's in the fireplace. telling you about what all he saw, but I don't have time for that. So I killed the first boss, the vampire wolf rat thingy, whatever you want to call that. And we're gonna go back to town and learn how to talk to the animals. Because that's important. You gotta recruit them like Pokemon.
Yeah, this game's pretty neat, this story. I mean, it's not just your typical adventure as like a little boy hero going out to grow up and save the world, and you kill monsters, and that's it. Actually, the monsters have their own story, and animals too all have personalities, and you can talk to everyone in the game. They actually have different dialogues as you move forward in the plot. It's pretty interesting. It goes into some themes about, you know, why are humans killing all these monsters? Is that really moral? No.
So this is my first recruit here. Man's best friend. And I'm gonna use him to help me gain trust with the rabbit so that I can gain the courage to jump.
Yeah, you don't just, oh, you got jump. You can gain the courage to jump in this game.
Yeah, right now I'm a coward and I stay on the ground because of it, so we're gonna fix that. The last time this trick is used. Oh, of course. Get it on the left side, which is supposed to be harder. That's still pretty smooth. Last time, yeah, we'll see this area. Just like that, they're no longer cowards. We also jump like a rabbit, so you can tell. Legs, feet bending all the way back.
You just believe gravity won't keep you down.
That's it. Joints won't hold you back. Alright, so we gotta get this little fire snake off my tail here. And then we gotta do basically what the first skip. There we go. Nice.
So he's gonna actually store his momentum here, and you can get some very intense speed and length with your jumps. And it's used a few times in the run. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, basically you fight the movement that the conveyor belt's trying to push you in, and it starts storing it that way. And you can get some crazy speed with it. It's used in a couple other spots. But that one's first one, probably the most important. One other one that's could be arguably the second most important. But yeah, there are a lot of block clips. You use blocks to push you in out of bounds like that. Some of them are finicky, more finicky than others. Jump is deceptively difficult. Now this is the worst boss in the game. It's got a decent amount of RNG to it, but the thing that sucks is you're supposed to hit the right one every time. And
it's kind of a shell game.
Yeah, he can overlap on top of other ones, and you just kind of have to guess with his hitbox. It's really annoying. Like that. I actually somehow hit him, so it's a miracle. And if you hit the wrong one, it will damage you and waste about 7 seconds. It's cool in concept, but in actual design, it just does not work. When they overlap like that, it's really frustrating. This is RNG2, which whatever the last position of the last one is, because you got to exit at the bottom right here. There's also this, if you press C, you have like, some of the animals have like special attacks that you can use. There's a rope clip, that's actually important. You can cancel the rope animation, and you can use it to also go out of bounds. It's a lot easier than it looks. It's probably the easiest out of bounds thing you can do, but it's pretty fruitful. But you can lock your camera by holding the special animal attack button. And when you do this, it reduces the slowdown that normally happens during the animations of turning and jumping. It looks kind of silly too, which is fun. But now I need to go and race the cheetah, because the cheetah is very, very important. There are basically, you have two of these little Pokemons behind you, and they alter the game, either your combat mechanics or your movement mechanics. And the cheetah gives you speed. Who'd have thought?
So when you use that sword there to bounce off the walls, that's a power that the scroll gives you. They all give you some sort of power on your sword usually.
This race is actually very difficult normally, but we cheese it because we didn't know how to program these race lap triggers. So just like that, I'm fast. Whee!
You can pay the cheetah about 4 times to get him to slow down, but that's still slower than just cheesing the laps.
That out of bounds thing I just did is the biggest time save in the route. There's normally a section you have to turn into a slime and do this whole pretty annoying, probably the least fun thing about the game, at least in terms of speedrunning.
You said it saves like 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes, a full 2 minutes. And that's if you do it perfectly, it's still 2 minutes. It's quite a big time save, yeah. Oh, see?
We're gonna get a quick cameo here. A familiar character.
So I've got to talk to the elephant to gain the courage to to grab things, lift things up. I actually don't know if that's a courage thing anymore. There it is. You can hear the rat-a-tat of my researcher here running in.
Whoops.
Okay, so this part's very difficult because there are left and right winds that happen that are cycle-based, and you kind of abuse that by going outside here. Let's see if I can skip. Oh, missed. Oh well.
So it's not about courage so much as about faith. He says, throw out your doubt, just believe that you can do it. And then if you try to leave, he's like, I won't let you leave until you can do it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. Whoops. Okay.
By this octopus here is threatening the animal village, and also has Chili the penguin captured on his head.
Not to be confused with Chili. It's a cold kind of chili. He's very useful. Alright. There's a constant back and forth between whether or not you want to do the special attack to lock your camera movement, or whether or not you want to do that, because it causes lag in a few spots in the game more than it's worth using. I haven't quite figured out exactly where it's optimal. but in most places it's best to just do it.
So where it's going to now, after this desert section here, filled with buttholes, is the Tower of Babel, which is in fact the same metaphor where it was constructed by God to separate humanity's languages. And yes, God is a character in this game, and he's going to complain to us later.
Sure is. Alright, then you get some money here. It's important to go to the past. And now we do the only actual block puzzle we do legitimately. Oops. I'm gonna buffer it 1 frame down and put here. That makes that pretty easy. And you can do that with the start menu. You can buffer inputs, which is what I was doing earlier, which I didn't explain. Alright, so this boss has the most RNG in the game. On average, you lose about 45 seconds. There's only one good pattern that you can damage them. You just have to literally just wait until that pattern happens, unless somebody figures out the how to manipulate the RNG. And from a hard reset, you can do a series of inputs to fix that RNG. Hopefully I do this correctly. If not, we'll be waiting a little bit. It's not a huge deal, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, so that's the attack pattern you want. Okay, I got it. So basically you are losing 12 seconds to a hard reset to save on average like 35 seconds. So it's very worth it until the game gets incredibly optimized, which it's not quite at. We'll say that it's more optimized than I can get it right now though. My PB is like a 3950 and the world record's like 3820. C-Sticks and Dino Pony are real good at this game. Need to get back into it. There's just constant new tech too being discovered, which is really cool. I like it. And now we meet Dippy the Dino.
That's right. Convincing him to get out of his little hovel here, and he's scared because he's never been in the ocean before. But we tell him you can just stay depressed in your little puddle, and he's like, nah, I guess I'll risk my life and cross the ocean for you guys. What a nice dino.
Now I get a lion. Gives me some fire damage. It's a combat-oriented Pokemon. Alright, so this is new tech here. I don't have this in my PB, but it actually makes this section easier, and it's already a little bit faster. Okay, so I'm clearing these blocks out of the way, saying hello to these snowmen, and I'm tricking the game. This is the other kind of glitch in this game, other than the out-of-bounds stuff, and it's say hi to Dippy. You can just slide around and ice. You can go anywhere. You're tricking the game to not know where to respawn you. So we use that to go out of bounds and skip the entire dungeon pretty much. This boss, you need to switch back and forth different elements every time you hit him. So between fire and ice, they'll switch colors. And this is another one of those fights you need to stand in the doorway to skip. That sucks.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than the wolf skip, right? Because there's apparently another boss after this fight.
There's a whole other boss, yeah. This is dangerous, I'm scared. Okay, I got it. Whew.
Nice.
It's RNG how he moves, so it's interesting because you basically want to try to get 2 hits every sword throw. That's a whole nother thing also, is when you throw your sword, after you get a hit on things, you can pause and it'll re-enable the hitbox of the sword, which is pretty nice. It's kept in check a little bit by mobs hit stun, so you can't just like infinitely hit things, but it's very useful. The Dogi.
So now we're going back up the Tower of Babel and to heaven.
I'm up to heaven on the vine. On the beanstalk.
Oh yeah, we had to get seed from the ice world. The slime was kind of defending it, kind of like stealing all the seeds, and you just grab one from it. The stage probably has the tightest platforming.
Yeah, definitely. And it has a difficult trick. These bees are just really annoying to deal with. They don't damage you, but they interrupt your sword throw and they grab you and you like float on them. Which is how the skip works. But I'm not 100% reliable at it. There's like a good setup for it. Oh. No! Oh, that bee was really mean. Pushed me off there. Now I have to wait for this thing to respawn.
Would this be a good time for a donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. We got $2 from Xantaman. Just says, good luck all. Thank you very much. We also got $10 from Jeff in 3D, who's one of the organizers for Calithon. Says, loving the run so far. Keep up the great work, everyone. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have these bees here, and the idea is I let them do this loop around here, and I'm trying to get them to carry me over here, and I got it. Okay, cool.
Very nice.
And that saves like probably 15 seconds. Oops. And now this is one of those respawn tricks. If you don't walk onto that teal or that beige tile, it doesn't know where to respawn you. So here we go. Now I gotta press all these buttons. And once I press all these buttons, then the boss will spawn. He can be a pain, hoping he's not. There's definitely RNG tied to him, but if you're good enough, it doesn't really matter. That's a if. Alright, the most damaging combination for bosses in most cases is going to be equipping the fire and the ice. Okay. Anytime he does a sword slash like that, it's a good pattern. Okay, cool. Because basically you can only damage him when you're above him. So if he gets above you, he becomes a nightmare to deal with. You have to wait for him to do like a sword slash and walk around him. It's a whole thing. And we didn't have to do that, so I am thankful.
So kind of just breezed through that text there, but we were just talking to God, and he was really upset with humanity, explaining how much he hates us, and that we Corona has to now experience the suffering of this world. And what does he mean by that? Well, basically we're gonna have to go back in the past and right the wrongs of history.
Cost 50 gold coins to go into the past, apparently. So luckily I have that. Don't know how I managed it. Gotta talk to these people for some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah, I couldn't find out why. I mean, it's just a cute family, I don't know.
That's it.
Just gotta check up on the old folks.
Talk to the flowers, magic.
Oh yeah, so this hole wasn't there before. Basically, you got to stroke a lightning bolt through the ground. That's
What?
how you can get in the pass.
Why isn't it going? Okay, there it is. Weird. Not sure why that trigger didn't work there. So now this is one of those, I'm gonna do an out of bounds trick that's actually really finicky. But you use Dippy, so we gotta go for it. Dippy's cool as hell. I didn't get a quick way to get in the lava. Other backup is that. Try to line up correctly here. Did not. Right. Okay. And that saves about 12 seconds, 13 seconds. Is very nice. Have a decent amount of health here. So now I get this armadillo, which is very useful because you can use him as a platform, and that makes your job of going out of bounds a lot easier in a lot of spots. So I'm going to be using him pretty shortly in combination, not for out of bounds, but for just using him as a platform, but in combination with that the stored momentum glitch off of ramps and some platforms. We'll use him here as intended to go back to the future. I think it's back to the future.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I use that. Nice. I'm gonna get the health here, safety health. But that trick right there is actually pretty difficult. I've gotten fairly consistent at it. You store your momentum, throw them as far as you can. Oh. And then repeat the process. So now we got to go to the dodo. I'm gonna skip a decent amount of this dungeon here with a pretty nifty little out of bounds trick using the armadillo. There's a nice little setup for it that's pretty dang consistent. Hopefully, you just have to press a bunch of buttons at the same time. It's kind of finicky for if you're using a Genesis controller. Where's the armadillo? Come back. There you are. Nice. Okay, so basically I was manipulating my subpixels to be able to clip inside there.
So.
Okay, that's a finicky part too. That's gone pretty smoothly. Okay, and then I clip in here and skip most of that dungeon. Oh, whoops. I don't know why I quit the ice. That's not the right thing.
If I can toot your horn, then you'd pretty much reverse engineer that trick yourself.
Kind of. Oh man, I messed up the... No, I mean, I did for myself, and I had a consistent way to do it until a more consistent method was found.
I gotcha.
Oh, you're not supposed to let him eat you, by the way. It's not a thing. I have to wait a whole extra cycle because I missed that second hit at the start. Kind of sucks. But it's not too much of a time loss. It's like maybe 3-4 seconds. I had a pretty consistent method for myself, and it was like rubbing against the wall. It was very intuition based. I was pretty proud of myself being able to figure it out, but that method that I just used was found by Dino Pony, and it is way more consistent.
Oh yeah, so this is Moa, this new Pokemon. It strengthens any ability from another animal that is in a duo with him. So with a cheetah, you go extra fast. Yeah, hitting the block sometimes can be finicky.
It's the most finicky thing in this game. It's like if you're too close to a block, you can't swipe it because it'll like force you into the push animation. It's really annoying. Alright. Now we need to kill the puppet boss. We need to steal his armor to make him mad. And equip fire. Hopefully I can 2-cycle him at the very least. Yeah, that's a guaranteed 2-cycle. Just have to get one more hit. Okay, so there is oh, I should have done that the other way. A little less efficient. There are multiple ways to do this, but there's another respawn trick here, and there are multiple ways to set it up that basically change the positioning of where you're spit out at after you fall. But this newer one that I saw Z-Sticks doing is more efficient because you can just straight go to the exit. It's important to not walk on those stairs, or else it'll mess up the trick. And there you go. That's that screen.
So there is a monster called Baron, kind of like a weird roly poly pill bug, and he's threatening the animal village here. And so the monkey, the leader, is like, okay, I want to fight him, but it's not enough if it's just me. Can you convince all of my villagers to help? And they're all like, nah, like my strength is just for myself, or like, no, I'm scared. And it's like, nah, I don't feel like it, so the monkey's like, okay, I'll just do it myself, I guess. But you're gonna help him, because you're such a good person. Good human.
That's me.
And you hate monsters, they must die.
True. This guy can be a little finicky, but because the whole stage rocks back and forth based on where your positioning is. So if you mess things up, it can change how the fight works. Also, the way these guys split up can, I don't know, it feels like RNG, but I don't think it is. That was actually pretty clean. Sometimes you can get them to split and then roll together and get them only in one hit, but that is good enough. Now we have the most dialogue in the game combined. I think all the dialogue combined. This is the majority of it right here. We're gonna have them talk to each other.
They're just saying how he was such a hero, or the monkey was, to go out. He was unconscious there. And like, oh, yeah, I guess, alright, I'll be your leader. Okay, well, he wasn't the leader before, but his bravery made them, inspired them.
Inspired
awesome.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I'm tearing off my pants.
Oopsies.
Alright, this next dungeon, I couldn't find anything. I do want to play this game myself. Actually, haven't yet. But I've seen Chubbus played a lot, and I would small amount about the tricks and lore, but I couldn't find anything about this next dungeon. I don't know how to explain it. You're gonna see why I'm like flummoxed about it.
This is the most finicky block trick. I almost had it first try. That would have been sweet. Ah, I should have had it there. Very easy to soft block here too, so I'm gonna take it careful. Okay, so now we kill a heart.
This is Mother Monster, or Mom for short. Yeah,
George would say it is GDQ runs the hardest boss. I mean, whoops, nope. Shout outs to George, I see you in chat. Ooh. When you have that much speed, it's you can bonk into things. There are multiple ways to prevent it. The easiest way is when you jump, you can't bonk into things, but you kind of have to be careful with that as a speed tactic, because a lot of the times you have to wait until you land to do certain things. The more precise way to do it is to just brake slightly to get underneath that bonk limit, whatever it is. Probably the most difficult section in the game is the boss rush near the end. In that regard, where you're trying to avoid bonking, but you want to use the speed as much as possible, because it takes a while to get to full speed. And in that section I'm talking about, it's basically a Pac-Man section. So there are very short sprints that you gotta do, and then meter your speed to not bonk, because it sends you flying. It's kind of a pain. It's a really difficult section to optimize.
The story there, this part's pretty interesting. Those weird, freaky creatures you saw, they went to talk with the king about, please stop killing us monsters, we're living beings too. And then the king's like, monsters! And they got scared and chased into the church. And you talk to them, and they're like, we don't understand. Like, why are we destined to be killed by you guys? And you're like, I don't know. And then the guards go in and then kill them. And they're like, oh, it's weird they didn't put up a fight. And why were they crying?
Doing that kind of poorly. I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Okay. This is one of the scariest sections. Soft lock pretty easily there. Okay. Not perfectly smooth, but it's not too long.
This jump here can be pretty tricky, but the key is to jump early, not late.
Alright. So this is the final boss rush here, and this is that Pac-Man section I was talking about. Ugh, bonked. Get you every time. The Mauser RNG, the movement too. I think they kind of try to hone in on you, but...
Yeah, it seems about as much as the Ghost and Pac-Man do.
Yeah.
Kind of like vague. Our mouths, after all, that started to tell their sense of direction. It's just the tongue. I'd be confused. It's like licking everything. Oh, and yeah, so these are 5 bosses. They represent the 5 senses. The mouths are pretty obvious. It's taste, but this is smell. It looks like a nose.
I got the double hit on that first one. Hopefully that's yeah, 2 double hits. That's pretty damn good.
Nice.
Oh, want fire.
And this is all so you can fight spirit energy, which is the main threat to the world, not the monsters.
That wasn't too bad. There's a lot of traction, like it changes the ground and traction becomes a difficult thing to deal with. That was a pretty clean fight. The shield through the eyeball, I've never seen that. I like that.
I don't think that contact lens is gonna fit.
This is the most finicky of the mini bosses. The idea is to use this AoE to hit them both. They can sometimes not want to be together. That's not too bad. And this is the last box. Gotta poke his eyeball open. Oh. Oh, whoops. This is the most trouble I've ever had with this. Okay, here we go. Okay. So that's pretty much the end of the game. There's a little epilogue, or run around town, grab my doggy, talk to the love of my life, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, when you beat Spirit Energy there, a gate to the underworld is ripped open, and all the monsters throughout time are sucked back into it. And that's it. They never existed. So it kind of is like a time reset.
Yeah.
Like you go around and say like, people are like, oh man, things are so much better now. And who's a hero? And you're like, it's me. And like, you're a stupid kid.
Oh my god, I never noticed that pug. That's cool. Alright, we're coming up on time in like maybe 20 seconds or so.
It'll be after the last dialogue box disappears on the...
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah,
Okay.
like it'll disappear, then I'll talk to her again, and it'll disappear another time. And... time.
GG.
Thank you. That was a fun run. Went pretty smoothly. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Yeah, play this game if you feel like Genesis and you want like a kind of a Zelda clone. It's kind of has its own charm to it. It's really nice.
There are very few RPG light, like even if it's just action RPG games on the Genesis that are good or even exist. Period. And this is a very solid game. Very fun.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Well, thank you very much for that Crusader of Centy run, Chubbus.
absolutely.
Next up, we are going to be doing All Night Nippon Super Mario Bros. If you have never heard of that, that's because it's an official ROM hack from Nintendo of the original Super Mario Bros. Game. So, it's got a lot of similarities to the original game, but there's some differences. But yeah, we'll be setting that up, and we will be right back.